Hey guys, Jake Stewart again with Powercore 360, and today we're going to be working with the torso trainer. So we're going to start with the instructional piece of the torso trainer, so the movement errors in the swing that it will fix and correct based off field-based learning. Then we're going to move on to a basic progression of drills that you can do with the torso trainer on, and then finally we're going to end with the resistance versus the assistance piece and move on to overspeed training, which is kind of our graduate school training piece. So the first thing that's nice about this torso trainer is it helps the athlete feel a little bit of that weight gather backwards. We want that negative, again, before we go on that positive forward, and it helps them feel that with their core muscles and their back muscles, just that little bit of backwards movement before we start our swing. So our load and coil right to our launch position. It helps the athlete, again, feel that little bit of weight transfer. So another nice thing that this torso trainer does when it's resisted with the band behind us is it helps us get into a good, strong launch position with our upper body. As this is resisting us, we can feel this front shoulder slightly down or even with our back shoulder. We don't want to get into a position where we're like this, getting ready to launch. It's not going to make for a very good swing path. All our weight's on our backside. It's going to be hard to get a little bit of weight transfer through the ball, and this is not where we want to be. So it helps the athlete just in order to stay sturdy, stay strong, even holding this position, they're going to be in a good, solid launch position. If you watch some of the major leaguers like Miguel Cabrera or anybody like that, their launch position is about like this. I can't think of anybody whose launch position is like this. This just does not look very athletic, doesn't look very powerful. It's going to make for an inconsistent swing, inconsistent contact, and that's not what we want when we're hitting. So we just want to be able to get to this position right here and hold it just to make sure that we're in a strong, stable launch position. The next piece that's really nice instructionally with this torso trainer on and this band resisted behind us is a lot of young athletes like to lose their barrel very early in their swing. Way back here, that's not a short swing, that's a very long swing. A lot of times that means they're coming around the baseball, hitting the outside and rolling over. So an athlete's automatically going to feel that if they're not short to the ball, and this bat will hit this band back in their swing. So we want to make sure that we're having a short, compact swing to the baseball, and in doing so, we're not going to hit this band, and that's what's going to help these athletes quickly fix that error. Is if they don't want to get wrapped up in this band, a lot of times we'll see them not even able to get to contact because the bat will wrap so much up in this band that it will help them. If they want to be able to hit the ball, they're going to have to take a short, compact swing to the baseball. The next thing that this does, again, instructionally with it resisted behind us, is it really helps us focus on our front shoulder on our path to the baseball. Again, we don't want our front shoulder flying up on our path to the baseball and we're dropping back here, and we definitely don't want that shoulder flying open so everything's left back like this. So if the athlete makes one of those movement errors, whether this flies up or flies open, the band's going to pull them off balance. And what I like to say, I always tell my athletes, hit against your front side, not with your front side. So you want this stuff, your back hip and your back shoulder to clear out your front side. That's how you're hitting against something firm, and not let all this stuff lead, and then you're falling off. You're looking at the third base coach when you're at the point of contact. It's hard to see what you can't hit. So we want to make sure that when we do this, in order to stay on balance, we're letting our backside clear out our front side, and that's going to allow us to stay over the baseball and really see what we're hitting. The next piece that's nice is now we're going to work through contact, and when we have this band on, it's really going to force us to stay down and get that extension piece through contact. It's not going to allow us to roll over or have that front shoulder again come up after contact. That's not what we want. We want our bat to be in that zone for a long period of time. We don't want our bat in and out of the zone. That's a very small margin for error. Your timing has to be impeccable if you're going to be able to hit that baseball. If you think about it, it's traveling on this downward plane right here. If our bat's going in and out of the zone, we're not going to have very much success because our bat's not in the zone for very long. So when we get to contact, we want to make sure that we're staying down and through the baseball with our shoulders and especially our head. Again, it's really hard to hit what you can't see. So if you're getting to contact, looking over at the third base coach, again, it's going to make it very difficult to hit. And especially if you watch a lot of the major league hitters, again, when they're at the point of contact, they're looking right down, either at the ball or even slightly behind the baseball, because they're really focusing hard on the path of that ball. They're really focusing on seeing what they're hitting, because that's going to give us the best chance to hit the baseball the way we want to, with a lot of success and a lot of consistency. Because as soon as our eyes move, that means our body's going to move. That means we're not going to see the ball. And again, that's not what we want when we're hitting. So this was really nice in making sure that we're staying down with our head and through the ball. Because if we don't, this starts pulling us off balance. And in order to do that, the athlete will self-correct again, because if they don't want to fall off balance and they want to be able to stay strong all the way through their swing, they're going to have to keep that front shoulder down, their head down, as they get that extension piece through the ball. Another thing that we can see instructionally with this is once we take this off, and even when we have it on, it forces the athlete to get a little bit of forward weight transfer in their swing. Again, when we swing, we don't want to sit on our backside like this and swing like that. That's not very strong. When we think about it, force is mass times acceleration. And if we don't get our mass moving somewhat forward, that's going to slow down our acceleration and not give us nearly as much force through the baseball. So we're not going to be able to hit as consistently and for as much power as we want. So we want to get a little bit of weight transfer forward in our swing. Again, we don't want to get all the way over the top, but this band's not going to allow us to do that. So it's going to allow us just to get a little bit of weight transfer when we're going through our swing. Because if we're sitting like this on our backside and dipping and ripping, all right, it's going to pull us off balance. All right, that's not a very athletic position, not a very strong position. So it's going to help us just get a little bit of weight transfer as we're going through to allow us to maximize our power and our consistency. Again, if you watch most professional major league hitters, power hitters especially, when they're getting through their swing, their back foot's coming a little bit forward or up off the ground. That means they're getting a little bit of weight through the ball. Again, they're not going all the way over the top like that, but their center of gravity staying behind their front foot while getting just a little bit of weight transfer, whether that's up with their front foot or driving forward with their front foot. They're not sitting and spinning on their back side where this whole foot's on the ground or even half of their foot's on the ground. We don't want to keep the ball of our foot on our ground through the swing, right? That's making our weight all the way back on this line versus getting a little bit of that weight transfer forward to where we're more on a straight up line instead of leaning all the way. So another thing that this does that's nice instructionally is it doesn't allow us to collapse our shoulders in our swing. All right, we definitely don't want to go get the ball with our shoulders like this. This doesn't look very athletic, doesn't feel very strong. We don't want to break our shoulder line this way. All right, that band's really resisting me. It feels awkward when I'm right here. So it forces us to stay tall. When we're swinging, we want to keep our spine tall. We want to keep everything tall so that way we can allow our hands to work on the path that they want to work on. That's the correct path, a consistent path, and a powerful path. And as soon as we start disconnecting our body and our shoulders, taking them down to the baseball, that's not a very good path. Most likely we're going to roll over. We're not going to have very solid contact point. So this really helps us feel staying tall with our body as we let our hands work through the swing. So one thing that you'll notice is a little bit different with the torso piece is all of our instruction, all of our teaching pieces are with the band resisted. This is the only time with our system that we have the band resistance for the teaching piece, with the hips, with the hands, all the other stuff. Most of our teaching instructional pieces are with it assisting, pulling us in the right path, pulling our body where it wants to go. But with this one, we're actually resisting on all our teach pieces because it forces you to make the movement corrections if you want to stay on balance. So now we're going to move on to just a basic progression of drills that you can do with the torso trainer on in the resistance phase. So the first one, again, we don't even need a bat. We can just mimic our swing motion, just making sure we're turning, we're staying on balance all the way through. This is nice, again, just because it doesn't require a lot of space, a lot of room, any equipment. All right, it can be done in your basement, on the field, anywhere. We're just going to step, stride, coil, load, go through our swing with our body, hold this finish. So from there we can actually put a bat in our hands and we can just take dry swings. So again, with this one, we're just going to swing through, hold our finish, stay strong, stay balanced all the way through. This is nice, again, it doesn't necessarily require a tee or balls or a cage or anything like that. It can be done in the backyard, just with a bat or the basement or really anywhere. All they got to do is just take a dry swing, make sure they hold their finish. So the next one that we can move on to, which I really like and I do a lot of times with our players, is I like making sure that all their swing, they really feel every part of their swing. And so in this drill, we actually have them take a full swing. A dry swing is probably, again, the best solution in this one. But in this one, instead of going fast like they were in the previous drill, we're gonna go about 30% all the way through our swing, just so they gain body awareness of what's happening the whole time through their swing and really making sure that they're stable and fundamentally sound throughout their entire swing. So in this one, we're just gonna go down, nice, really slow through our swing, making sure we're staying balanced the whole time. Again, at no point in there are we falling off balance. It's really making us focus on things when we go slow. It's focusing on our path to the ball, our path through the ball, all of our body position the entire way throughout. So from there, we can move on to whatever your natural practice progression is. If you want to hit balls off a tee, we can do that. If you want to hit front flips, if you want to hit live pitching, whatever your progression might be through your practice, which I would imagine would start with a tee, move on to soft toss, front toss, whatever some type of toss is, and then move on to live pitching. So with this, we can just start, and again, all we're focusing on here is hold your finish. That's our only coaching piece. Coaches, again, we're trying to eliminate the talking, the lectures. Kids aren't engaged with that. It's not very fun for them to sit and listen. So with this one, it does all the coaching for you, so you just have to stand back and say, stay on balance. And if they're not doing that, they will hopefully self-correct their errors intuitively in order to stay on balance all the way through their swing. So again, we can hit balls off a tee, we can hit soft toss, front toss, live pitching, whatever it might be as we move on through our progression. Now when we move on just from those basic, simple progressions, now we want to move on to a little more advanced training where we're going 3 sets of 5 reps as fast as we can and holding our finish. So in this one, again, we're not worried about our bat path. We're definitely not worried about the flight of the ball or where it goes. This is a strength training exercise. So in this one, we want to go 5 reps as fast as we can with holding our finish. Again, with the resistance on, it's going to be slower than we can go with the overspeed training. So through this, it's a strength training exercise. We're not worried as much about the flight of the ball, the bat path, anything, but how fast can we turn our shoulders and our core and hold our finish. So again, we're going to do about 3 sets of 5 reps as fast as we can while we're still able to hold that finish. So now we're going to move on to the overspeed training, the assistance phase with this on. But again, this is kind of graduate level stuff. So we don't want to be doing this in the first couple workouts, probably not even in the first week, 2 weeks, maybe even the first month. All right, this is pretty far down the road. After we've established a base with the bands on, working with the system, we've developed a lot of strength through our core and all these muscles. And when we're doing it, we want to make sure that nothing's hurt in the athlete's body. So if we go to the overspeed training and there's a little tweak in their back or in their hips or somewhere, we want to shut them down. That means their body's not ready for it yet. So we want to make sure that they're able to tolerate the turn, the assisted overspeed turn, and make sure that we've already established a base. So we're doing it down the road in a position where we've established a base and we're not in a position to hurt ourselves. So again, now we've got it on the assisted phase, so we're working on overspeed training, and this is all about speed training. With it on resisted, it's all about strength training, but we don't want to have the strength training without the speed training, especially in this game where it's all about being quick, fast twitch, explosive, short movements. We definitely want to work on our speed as well as our strength. Again, you can be the biggest, strongest guy in the world, but if you have no speed, you're not going to have very much success when you're trying to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. So with this one, we got the band out front now. Now we're working on speed training. Again, this is graduate level stuff. So when we move to this, we want to make sure that the athlete's body is able to handle it. They're solid in their mechanics, they're solid in their foundation. So the first swing that we're going to have them take is going to be about 50%, just to see if their body can handle the overspeed training. Again, we don't want to jump right to doing 100% overspeed training. So with this one, we're just going to start out with a 50% swing. Again, just holding their finish, making sure their body can handle it, focused on speed. So from then, if their body's able to tolerate that without any pain, any tightness anywhere, we can start ramping it up. So we can go from 50% to 75%, 80, 90, 100%. We can work our way up through the overspeed training to really work on that fast twitch, speed, explosive swing, just to work on our power, consistency, solid contact. So there we moved up to about a 75% swing. Again, if the athlete's body is solid, they can handle it, there's nothing going on in their body, then we can really ramp it up to 100%, work on our overspeed training, build a lot of speed. So in an ideal world, we'd pair our resistance with our assistance. We do the resistance first, 5 fast, powerful reps with it resisted, wait about 30 to 45 seconds, and then turn around and do our overspeed training. That's the way we're going to maximize our results and see the most benefit. The written program for reps and sets, and this is typically not a youth workout, it's typically a high school and above workout, but the program's going to be different if you're in high school, college, or a pro level guy. So through doing our work with our torso trainer on, the end-all be-all goal is to create better mechanics, more repeatable mechanics, and faster swing path. Again, that's what we want, and this allows us to take quality, repeatable reps. All right, so we're not taking bad reps over and over and over again. With this one, we have the ability to take consistent, quality reps, and that's going to lead to a faster changeover in their mechanics, better mechanics, faster mechanics, and that will ultimately lead to more confidence when they're at the plate. Again, we want to take the thinking out of our mechanics. We want to take the negative thinking out of our head when we're in the batter's box in the game. So working on these drills, that's when we can work on our mechanics, really work on our foundation, but we really want that to lead to just a trust in your mechanics, a belief in your mechanics. When you get in the game, you're as confident as you can be in the box to go and hit whatever that pitcher's throwing up to you.